As men, we crave freedom, but we accept slavery. If we're lying to ourselves, we're ultimately a slave. But what's worse than that is we become a slave of our own making. If you just don't really understand something, you're not very sharp, and someone's lying to you, you might just get fooled or fooled for a while. But when we tell ourselves these stories, when we know there's one, two, three things, because sometimes it's that simple, or we can do the other thing to go, well, there's 47 things I need to do perfectly before I can have whatever, which is virtually never true. I mean, maybe I'm sure there's some weird case you're building a rocket ship or something. If someone did some kind of business commitment or something that was making them money, meditated and went to the gym, they would have in 3 months a totally different life. And the tricky part is if we're bullshitting ourselves or lying to ourselves or staying in this, self-imposed slavery, obviously not great. But what's worse is if things are decent, maybe we think they're great, but they're like good. They're like a 6. We're like, your money's comfortable. Maybe your money's good, but just your body's okay, but it's not bad, but it's not what it could be. Or you're still getting laid and you're afraid to commit and you want something different in terms of relationship and something in you that knows there's something better out there to be built, better than what you saw your family create, better than what your parents created, better than what your aunt and uncle, most of your friends. But you can bullshit yourself that where you're at, maybe you're kind of good at sex, or you're dating a few girls, or you're casually dating this girl, but she's not wife material, she's not girlfriend material, but it's comfortable enough. The sex could be good, but it's not it. Because as guys, sometimes we talk about it, but oftentimes not. We have two distinct buckets where it's like, oh, this is just a hookup, this is just sex, this is whatever, this is temporary, versus like, oh, this is girlfriend, or this is wife material. So when we're wasting time, when we're bullshitting ourselves, we're a slave. The ironic thing about self-imposed slavery is it's harder to break free if you see it that way. And just as well, it's easier to break free. However, if we break free from the slavery with a new sense of thoughts, a new commitment, do we have the muscle, the mental, emotional, physical discipline and consistency to follow through? And the answer is often no. Or do we have the right peer circle to follow through? Unconsciously, a lot of people want to see you fail, even if they don't. Because if you go and you totally change in 90 days, it's going to call into question how they're showing up. If you're the dude that's going to be dating radically different women in a few months, and your buddy's just messing around with the same girl, or girls on Tinder or porn, or going to some other country where it's easier to get laid, it calls into question how he's being. So it'd be easy to have you maybe a little better, but not that great. I was thinking of this video today. I was looking at myself in the mirror. I got to my yoga class, which when I'm in the States, I do a bit more, where it's 105 degrees, and I was just sitting there looking at myself. And it's kind of a wild thing how much, you can drink ayahuasca, you can have a coach. Those things are great, stuff like that, journaling, whatever. But just sitting, looking at yourself in the mirror. If you've never done it, some weird shit might come up. You might feel proud, you might feel pissed, might want to punch the mirror, might cry. Even though as men, we suppress those emotions a lot, or think it makes us weak. I just had a buddy last night, and he was telling me how he started crying at something, and he was like, what a pussy he was. It's actually kind of a nice story of overcoming something, but how he just judged it in the moment. I bought these, I guess I'd call them like handcuffs. They were gold. I still have them next to my bed. I bought them 4 years ago. No, more than that. 4.5, whatever, close enough, 4 or 5 years. I knew back then that I was a slave to weed. But I was starting to peek over the fence and try to get out of this self-imposed slavery. I was in a relationship I shouldn't have been in. I don't know why it is. Sexual stuff or bad relationships and weed, they just seem to go together. Porn and weed, that's another video. I kind of touched on that a couple days ago. And I bought these essentially like handcuffs because I knew I was starting to cut back on weed, still making up stories, kind of take a little time off. At one point I took a month off, I think. I was taking a month on, month off. And I realized I was being a bitch. Like, I had enough weird, I guess I'd be caring for myself or for a better version of me, a true version of me, mixed with, I guess I described it like challenge and criticism. So every night I smoked that weed, I got to look at this was essentially handcuffs next to my bed. Not those kind of handcuffs. So it was kind of degrading, actually, and that was the idea. Not recommending that for everyone. But sometimes we think we need a big vision with all these steps, which a vision you do need. But we think we need all these things to become the man we want to become, to create the life we want to create, to build the relationship we want, the family we want, the business we want, the body we want, whatever it is. And it's like wanting to add a supercharger to a car that has the brakes halfway on, which it will have more power in a way. It probably won't really go faster. Wouldn't go faster than the car would go if it was just unrestricted. If it didn't have the resistance, the tinder, the pot, the junk food, the health food that masquerades as junk food. I'll make another video about that later. And to look at ourselves and to confront ourselves, where are we really bullshitting and lying to ourselves? Because without that, nothing else really matters. We can make a commitment, we can make a plan, and then we can, but it's different, or I gotta take care of myself, man. It's healthy to smoke weed because the plant medicine ceremony, right? It's organic, or I gotta blow off some steam. When we lie and bullshit ourselves, nothing fucks our life up more. And we can have our inner voice of our mom saying, oh, I want my little boy to be taken care of. And then as we quit on our commitments and we quit on ourselves of why we're really here, it's like sucking on mommy's teat. Going back into the womb. Having the illusion of comfort. As we tell ourselves it'll be different tomorrow. It'll be different next week. Wait till the next quarter. After this weekend. Once I break up with this chick or these couple of chicks I'm seeing, well, it's just getting practice to become good at sex. So I got to date these girls so I can find my wife. Whatever story we need to bullshit and lie to ourselves. And I wonder if you've watched this video for, 9 minutes? Do you have the balls to tell yourself the truth about what you want and where you're at and how you're showing up today? You can be a great guy in your heart, but ultimately as men, we're judged on our actions and our results, whether that's good, bad, right, or wrong. Women, dogs, babies, things like that, they're loved unconditionally. If we keep talking a good game about one day we'll have the relationship, all this someday syndrome, one day, we'll show up and start posting on social media, one day we'll go to the gym. I mean, forget how other people don't trust us or look at us the same way. It totally erodes our sense of respect and trust for ourselves. It's like an empty ball sack. That's how it feels inside on some level. And you don't really know it feels that bad until you start to really go the other way. And then you're like, oh, I've been disconnected from my power. I've been disconnected from my fucking fire. I've been lying to myself. And it ends up feeling good really quick. As long as you don't go back and judge yourself for what you did in the past and there's nothing you can do to change that, it is what it is. But if you watch this video or see something like this, you know that you're choosing enslavement, self-imposed enslavement. You could have been sometime in history when someone was actually enslaved, but we live in a paradox today where it can be weed, porn, women, Netflix, staying up till 2 a.m. for no reason because we're scrolling on our iPhone or whatever. Self-imposed slavery. If you watch this far, I challenge you to go sit in front of the mirror for 10 minutes. Don't look away. Don't have your phone. Don't play music. Sit with yourself. A couple feet away, close enough. And look at yourself in the eyes and ask, what's your real truth? And what's standing in the way? The start is that simple. Then it takes commitment, consistency, and the right support, the right coach, the right therapist, or the right group of guys that are going for it, that'll challenge you and push you to the next level. See you soon.